Hey, Queen, do you ever feel like you're trapped by the need for other people's approval? Do you fear being judged, not accepted, or even rejected? Well, you're not alone. This fear, often invisible, might be silently sabotaging your happiness and freedom without you even realizing it. I get it. I spent years trying to please my family, and in the process, I almost lost myself completely. We do this because we live in a world where being accepted seems more important than being authentic. From an early age, we're taught to measure our worth through the eyes of others. External opinions shape our choices, our behavior, and often even our happiness. But here's the truth. Chasing approval doesn't make us more secure. It makes us prisoners of a cycle where we're never good enough. And the more we try, the further we drift from who we truly are. Today, we're going to talk about how this endless pursuit of validation keeps so many women trapped, and, more importantly, how you can break free from it. If you feel like you've been living to meet expectations that aren't even yours, then this video is for you. 1. The weight of other people's opinions in women's lives. From a young age, we are conditioned to believe that pleasing others is essential for being accepted and valued. Phrases like, be a good girl, don't be too loud, don't be difficult, shape our perception of the world and teach us that our worth is tied to how much we are liked by others. Over time, this conditioning becomes an unconscious pattern that negatively impacts every area of our lives. Our careers, relationships, and even the decisions we make about ourselves. The problem is, when we constantly seek approval, we give up our authenticity. Instead of shaping our lives based on what we truly want, we mold ourselves to fit what others expect from us. And this isn't just my personal opinion, Queen. Psychology explains this through the theory of approval dependence, a concept studied by Alfred Adler and expanded upon by modern researchers. According to Adler, many of our emotions and behaviors are driven by an unconscious goal: belonging. This means that, more often than not, we don't act based on what we truly desire, but out of fear of social rejection. This cycle creates anxiety, insecurity, and a deep disconnection from our true selves. And that leads to an important question. If we're constantly shaping who we are just to be accepted, then who are we, really? 2. How the need for external validation controls your life. Queen, have you ever stopped to wonder why the fear of judgment has so much power over your life? I bet you'll be as surprised as I was when I finally understood it. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense. The need for approval isn't just a simple desire to be accepted. It's a deeply rooted psychological mechanism designed to protect us. From childhood, we learn that being accepted and belonging to a group is essential. This instinct comes from our primal past. Back then, being excluded from the group meant real danger, making us more vulnerable to threats. Even today, our brains still interpret rejection as a survival threat, which is why we instinctively try to fit in at any cost. That explains why we fear making mistakes, putting ourselves out there, and facing criticism. The moment we sense that something might lead to rejection, our brain activates an internal alarm, triggering anxiety, insecurity, and self-sabotage. And because of this, we unconsciously create emotional excuses to avoid uncomfortable situations. But here's the truth. These fears are not reality. They are just your brain's way of keeping you safe within familiar patterns, even if those patterns are holding you back. The problem? This false sense of security keeps you stuck. You don't grow, you don't evolve, and you don't fully live as your true self. Breaking free from this cycle means seeing external validation for what it really is: a learned behavior, not a real need. Now, can you see just how deep this goes, Queen? 3. The endless unhappiness of depending on validation. The pursuit of approval creates the illusion that, once we are fully accepted, we will finally find peace and belonging. But that's simply not true. Why? Because approval is unstable and completely out of our control. It depends on other people. The praise you receive today can turn into criticism tomorrow. What was once considered good enough might suddenly no longer be. This traps us in a game we can never win, where our self-esteem constantly rises and falls based on external validation and the changing opinions of those around us. And there's something even more damaging. This cycle breeds resentment. After spending years trying to please everyone, only to feel unseen and unappreciated, frustration builds up. We start feeling invisible, betrayed, and trapped in a life that doesn't truly belong to us. That resentment then turns into bitterness, a loss of faith in life, and even self-sabotage. Sounds tragic? That's because it is. The truth is, seeking approval as a path to happiness is a fundamental mistake. True happiness doesn't come from external validation. It comes from internal validation. And that only happens when we connect deeply with our true identity and have the courage to live in alignment with it, no matter the cost. If this video is resonating with you so far, take a second to give it a like. This helps spread this message to more women who need to hear it. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content that will help you break free from the need for approval and start living authentically. 4. The myth of trauma as destiny. Many women believe that their past experiences have determined who they are. Trauma, rejection, and past criticism often become the reasons, or rather, the excuses for their fear of moving forward. Yes, past experiences do influence our present lives. But the truth is, no experience defines who you are. According to studies in cognitive psychology, what truly matters is not what happened to you, but the meaning you assign to it. Two people can go through the same trauma and take completely different paths. One may feel stuck in pain, while the other uses it as fuel to grow. This means that even if your past conditioned you to live for others, to seek approval, and to fear rejection, it does not define who you are today. You have the power to rewrite your story and choose a different path. I won't lie, it's not easy. I know firsthand how much work and emotional effort it takes. But I can promise you this: it's worth it. Choosing to change takes courage. The courage to let go of beliefs that once felt safe but were actually keeping you stagnant. But Queen, if I could do it, so can you. The path to freedom. Breaking free from the need for approval doesn't mean ignoring other people's opinions completely. It means understanding that your worth cannot depend on them. The problem isn't listening to others. Sometimes their opinions can be helpful and constructive. The real issue is when you lack the ability to filter them and end up shaping your life around what others think, instead of what truly aligns with your essence and desires. So, here are 3 essential steps to start freeing yourself from the need for external validation. Challenge the belief that rejection equals failure. Not everyone will like you, just like you don't like everyone. And that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. The moment you accept this truth, the fear of judgment loses its power. Recognize your own desires and values. If you didn't need approval from anyone, how would you live your life? The answer to this question reveals deep truths about who you are and what you truly want. Practice authenticity every day. Start with small actions. Say no when you mean it, even in minor situations. Express your opinion without fear. Allow yourself to make mistakes without seeking validation afterward. True freedom is built through small daily choices. Start now. In the end, the greatest freedom isn't being accepted by everyone. It's fully accepting yourself. No woman who has ever lived an extraordinary life was universally approved by others. But do you know what they all had in common? They approved of themselves. You need to understand that authenticity makes people uncomfortable, especially those who haven't found their own freedom yet. And it's very unlikely that these people will applaud you for breaking free. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. Are you willing to let go of other people's approval to finally claim your own life and happiness? And how would your life look if you no longer needed validation from anyone? Now, take action. Comment below. I will be free and my life will be amazing. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. Queen, love yourself exactly as you are. You are incredible. See you in the next video.